Hi, my name is Adam Powley. I am a teacher at Early College High School, and I am also the regional coordinator for the coastal region of South Carolina National History Day. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of your time. I appreciate Eric letting me do this. I would like to invite you to the Early College High School History Day Fair, which is going to be on December 15th here at Horry Georgetown Technical College. We're going to be in the Burgess Chapin cafeteria and auditorium. I'd like to invite you to this fair because I want you to see how History Day can be a valuable product for education, and how it's not just a competition but also a good project-based learning activity for a U.S. History Social Studies classroom. I was part of the administration, I guess, of History Day when Coastal Carolina University took it over a few years ago. The history department picked up the NHD program when the former director decided that she could no longer work on it here in South Carolina. And I remember discussing with the department chair why the university would pick up a program for middle and high schoolers. And their response was really interesting, and that was that the history department was getting frustrated by students that were coming into the major, thinking that history was nothing more than answering multiple choice questions and memorizing names and dates. They wanted to have a program in place throughout South Carolina that would encourage students that to know that history was more than just that, and that it was researching and analyzing and building arguments and interpreting the past. Something much more complex than what it was normally presented at in some schools. And I wanted to give you a feel today for why I think that that's true and why I think it's such an important moment, opportunity for these kids. I also wanted to mention, before I get to that, Early College High School, while it does have the college part in the name, sometimes, and I'm sure none of you think this, sometimes it's assumed that we have the best and the brightest students, but early college was made for what we'd call the middle quartile students, that we don't allow or we don't accept any gifted and talented students into our program. So we don't have the students that, say, Scholars Academy might have, where they're academically gifted and would sort of naturally excel at these programs. We are using things like National History Day and other project-based learning activities to try to help encourage them to be successful academically. So I wanted to show you this website. This is my website that I made. It's not robust, but it does have the basics that you need to understand Coastal and South Carolina National History Day. This is a bit.ly address if you don't want to write down all the stuff that's up there. The bit.ly address is just bit.ly/coastal SCNHD, and it'll take you right to this homepage. If you're interested, I'd also like you to come and judge for us. The actual competition is going to be March 8th, and that's going to be at Coastal Carolina University. We usually start around 8 in the morning, and we're usually done around noon, 12:30 or so. And if you're interested in participating, sponsoring a student, every student has to have a teacher that helps them to register. Or if you'd like to judge, you can click on this link that's right over here, and this link will take you to the ZFair site, which will allow you to register to be part of the program. The theme this year is Turning Points, and I'm going to reference that in just a moment. But you see right here, the Turning Points theme. And I want to show you these documents right here. This is the judge's evaluation form. 80% of the project is going to be considered historical quality. And I want to point out a few parts of this. First is historical argument, trying to develop a formulated argument with a lot of analysis. It also encourages wide research, meaning both primary and secondary sources, and more than just websites. They want to see kids are interacting with books and journals articles and databases and libraries and museums. They have to use primary sources. They have to provide context. They have to provide multiple perspectives. They need to talk about short and long-term outcomes. They have to provide their own student voice. They need to demonstrate why the topic that they selected is significant to history. Now, why does this all matter? Why am I pointing out the judge's evaluation form? Because if we look at the deconstructed skills in our current alignment guide, these are part of the U.S. History and Constitution 2020 standards. These are shared by the 8th grade U.S. History standards. Looking through the other social studies curriculums, these are pretty common. Some variation on these will be found all over. In fact, the end of course test, from what I understand now, is built around these deconstructed skills. We have comparison, which is comparing historical events for similarities and differences. That's that idea of multiple perspectives. It's not exactly content-based, but we are asking these students to compare things here. More importantly, and more directly related to the evaluation form, is causation, justifying short-term and long-term causes of events, right? That's the context part of it. Short and long-term consequences, that's the significance part of it. Providing periodization. In fact, right here, major turning points in history, American history. So students are evaluating different turning points and deciding which one they think is most significant. They're going to be looking at that context, which also is similar to periodization, understanding the characteristics of an era, providing context and distinguishing between events in time and place. These are all parts of the evaluation form, and most importantly, continuities and change, describing how something changes. This is the historical argument that they have to make. It is before the event, they have to describe the turning point event, and then they have to describe what happens afterwards. And lastly, we have evidence. The entire project is based on primary and secondary source evidence, determining the differences between primary and secondary sources, weighing that evidence and understanding how important it is. In order to do that, they have to break down these documents. And from what we understand, the end of course test now is mostly stimulus, which is taking this primary source or some graph or chart or map, and then explaining how it's important by selecting the right multiple choice answer. This is all stuff that I think is really important for the kids to really get a hold of. We have a theme sheet here. The rule book is down here. Kids have to follow the rules on these presentations so that everyone has kind of an even playing field. And I'm always really interested in the competition element of this. But I think what's more important than the competition, and I say this at the award ceremony every year, only a few people are going to advance to the next level. If they advance from the coast of South Carolina region, they will go to the state competition. And if they advance from the states, the top 2 projects in each category get to go to the national competition in June, if they are able to. What I would really hope that students take away from this, though, is not the competition element, but the fact that they're diving deeply into this project and that they're learning something beyond just memorizing names and dates. If you're more interested in in National History Day, if you'd like to participate in National History Day or encourage your students to participate, I would be more than happy to talk to any of you about that. My email is apauli001@oregoncountyschools.net. If you would like to come judge, I would be happy to have you. If you would like to come and just see these projects in action, we are going to have that history fair, which is a high school fair at Early College on December 15th. I can provide you more information that as it gets closer. But you can see what the students are going to create and how effective and valuable the project really is. So thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. And if you need anything from me, please let me know. I'll be happy to talk to you.